my hair.
We'll leave that in.
No, you're not. You better edit that out. Okay, we're gonna start.
We can start now.
Okay, we can start now. So I'm Jennifer.
I'm Dave.
Yep, you are Dave. We are Rocket Cheap Labs.
We are.
So last time we gave an update on the Quizzer.
Yes.
So we have another version here.
Yes, okay. It's the same Quizzer, unupdated.
Yeah, and this is the box we had it in last time, which was just an acrylic box that I cut out on a laser cutter and then you glued on. And we left the paper on, so like the on and off and play and reset didn't etch.
Didn't etch, yeah.
Yeah, so we just took a little pieces of paper, which you can't see, but you know, these little blobs here, and they just say on off, and we just tape them on there. So you know.
Yeah, we added that on the second day because people were totally confused as to what the buttons were for, and that was our attempt to make it easier on us.
Yeah, and like when they didn't etch, we'll be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. We'll just tell them. But the first thing they do is like, okay. Write it down.
Good.
On. Oh wait, that's on. Okay. So this was probably our most popular version.
Probably.
Which we call the dexterity test.
The dexterity test. Yes.
So basically, it's sort of operation in the reverse. So, and I am no good at this. Like everyone there was like, "Oh, you must be good at it," but that's a lie.
We've actually had 4 people now complete it. So,
and then we put little stops here, and usually the beginning is like easy, and you know that gives people confidence. Oh, yeah, until they touch. So once someone touches, you have to reset.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, we noticed a lot of people that were, when they were playing, rightly so, they're like intently focused on.
Hey, back off my! I could have shown all that. You know, I can do intent.
They were intently focused, like she can do, and they didn't notice.
Don't make me laugh.
They didn't notice that they touched, and so we were constantly telling people, "Oh, you gotta stop! You gotta stop!"
Yeah, and then like you have to hold down the reset and then push up the play. So a lot of people thought they were doing good, but I did not touch there. I'm going to start from the bottom and see if that makes a difference. Yeah, but a lot of people, sorry, this game is more important to me right now.
See, it's very popular.
Yeah. So they didn't realize that they had to push up the play, so they thought they were doing great, but you know.
Right.
Yeah. They weren't getting the feedback they needed. So that's one of the things with the new one that we're going to add. So why don't you tell them that what I...
Well, she tries to make it another inch. So what we've added is on the stick, we've added a vibration motor so that you get immediate feedback.
Well, first, so...
I'm telling them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Sorry. I'm not doing a good job on my part.
We removed the reset. So there's a power and there's no second switch. So every time you touch, you'll get a vibration and your light will come on. As soon as you stop touching, the light will go off and the vibration will stop. And so that's, in a nutshell, that's really the difference between the two. Well, I take it back. There is another big difference. This has logic in order to handle the latching of the circuit, and the new one has no logic on it. So we call it a simple Quizzer because it doesn't have all of the.
It doesn't have the integrated circuits.
It doesn't have the integrated circuits.
But that's not really a good name for it because it's doing different things.
Yes, we want you to tell us what to call this thing instead of a simple Quizzer.
I thought about.
We're looking for a new name, so.
Maybe the Challenger.
The Challenger sounds pretty good.
You know, or
it is a challenge with this, is it not?
The double dueler. Because it will have 2, so I'm just doing it because I want to play.
Here's the other one.
You know. Well, I make him do the real work here.
Right.
But it will be 2, so 2 people can race.
Right.
Oh, man,
and I come up with an idea. If it works, we'll be taking it. Well, either way, we'll take it to the World's Maker Faire and we'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, you'll just see these here. But if it does work, you'll see a new diabolical wire thing that I've come up with that you have to trace.
This is rigged.
Even though this is hard enough as it is.
This is obviously demon wire here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. And this is all this is 6-gauge wire that's been, put in circle.
I wrapped it around a juice container.
Oh yeah, and then just brought up and taped down.
Right.
So.
And then it's of course soldered to the end of the back into the unit. She can't make it more than an inch.
It's not soldered. We have these.
It's soldered on this end.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't.
This is the last one because otherwise these people are going to get all our watchers are going to.
It hasn't even been 6 minutes yet. So, and our last video was 12. So I have 6 more minutes to figure this out. Okay, so all right, fine. I'll put it down. So yeah. So so on the quizzer, I'm just going to say so a lot. On the quizzer, we had a disagreement about whether to have surface mount chips or.
We gave them that in the last video.
I know. I'm repeating.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
In case you didn't watch the last video.
Yeah, or they, remember like on the shows, it's like in last time.
In the last episode.
Yeah. I don't think they'll do that anymore. But anyway,
yes,
so I'm doing a recap.
Okay,
so,
recap.
I agreed with you on the surface mount.
Yes.
Okay. Instead of doing through hole that you would have to solder yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't agree on this version, the new quizzer.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call it the new quizzer, not the surface.
The new quizzer. No, because
yeah.
we don't want to say that it's not a replacement for the old quizzer.
Okay, on the Challenger.
The Challenger for now.
Okay.
We'll call it the Quizzer Challenger.
Yeah. So on the Challenger, the Explorer, did we decide on the Explorer?
I don't remember, but anyway, you keep going.
On the Challenger. So on the Challenger, we had a disagreement on the circuit bulb, basically.
Yes.
So
I wanted to.
No,
okay.
It's my turn. I finished playing.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm working now.
I should have just kept going.
You should have. You had your chance. But now it's mine.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
keep going.
Okay. So you go ahead.
Okay.
Man, you just like distracting me.
Yeah, I know.
So this has 2 sides, or the new Challenger will have 2 sides.
Yeah,
and I
player
wanted
1 and player 2.
Each player to be the same.
Correct.
The circuit for each player.
The circuits to be the same.
And you wanted them different to teach different concepts.
Correct.
And I was like, no. But we kind of decided on your idea.
Yeah, we took the concept to a group.
Yeah, MoCo makers, Montgomery County makers.
Yep.
So they meet on Fridays at Launch Workspaces. So you can go to meetup.com to look at them if you're in the area in Rockville.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Maryland.
We left.
I wanted to throw that out there because I'm sure there's a lot of Montgomery counties in Rockville out there. So yeah.
So we took it to them and we let them vote on which design they liked, and
this may take a while. So
most of them decided more was better.
Yeah. I mean, originally I was like, well, they're maybe beginners would be discouraged by the difference, but they made a good point. And if you teach it very modularly,
right,
then it would be easy to learn.
Yes.
And also from a teacher's perspective, because I've taught before, and you're not always given a lot of times to learn what you have to teach.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's already broken down to modules, so okay, we teach the power circuit one day, and then the next day we teach player 1, and then the next day we teach player 2. That's a lot easier for people to absorb.
Right. Right.
So I was like, all right, you convinced me. So that's 2 for 2 now. Well, actually, I wanted the board bigger, so I won that one.
Well, it's all a give and take.
Yeah, it is. So, though we just won't count yours.
Okay. So
he agreed to that. He didn't realize. I don't think he realized what I was saying.
So one thing that happened when we came up with the Challenger Quizzer, as we're going to call it now, is that we came up with the idea that these things could be used with lots of games that are out there.
Yes.
And so one idea I had was to wire this into a
no tapping noises.
No tapping noises. Sorry. wire it into an operation game, and then instead of the board vibrating, your hand will vibrate, which would be kind of cool. And we've also come up with a new. We also came up with a new game that you can play with this, which we think is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So at the World Maker Fair in New York, October 1st and 2nd, we showed 2 versions of the Challenger.
Correct. And when we came up with this idea, we then came up with a series idea, which we're calling all of the quizzers and the challengers and the simple quizzer.
All the games.
I mean the no solder.
Right. So we haven't shown the no solder.
Okay. We'll show you in a moment if you want.
Yeah, I can get it out.
We basically came up with a new name for a series, and we're going to develop several more kits in the game.
Just tell them what it's called.
It's called the GameLab. Okay.
Labs.
The GameLab.
Yeah. GameLabs.
Labs. Okay.
Yeah, because it's more than one, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Kind of goes with Rocket Labs. You know, hey.
That's true. I didn't think about that. But so this is another version. Yeah, let's make some. Just destroyed all. Jeez. So this one, we showed some during the first day of the National Maker Faire in DC, but we showed it more in the second day because people kind of liked seeing the different options.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is, we call it the no solder kit because surprisingly it's no solder. So this is like super beginner, you know, teaching Ohm's law and we're going to teach about resistors with this. We actually have a really spiffy idea.
Right.
But the basic thing is, so anyone can put this together without a soldering iron because not everyone has access to that. And so this is a little quiz book that, let's see if we can get the writing, almost. I had it there for a second. So there's a question over here, and then there's possible answers, and if you pick the right one, lights up. It lights up. Is it? Can you see it all?
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So yeah, this angle is not very good for it, but let's see if you can see it better. You can see it. So
you can see it.
yeah, there we go. There's my shirt. It's too white down here. So. And this is, again, this little quiz book is just something anyone can make. It just requires a little bit of copper tape.
Right.
So good for classrooms and any beginner. And another one good for studying, actually, and making it into a game.
Right.
So like if you had a group of kids, you know, they each make their own quiz book and then they trade them.
Right.
You know, so it's again learning and you know, having fun.
Hold that up was making the whole thing get dark.
It's too much light.
Turning the lights out.
Yeah, earlier I had an orange shirt on and that didn't work because I guess it was too much. Yeah, that's why
her shirt was going bang, 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 bang. I was like, wow.
That's why I'm now in a dark hunter green shirt. You know, if you didn't have these spotlights on us.
I know, right?
Okay, so yeah, so while I was intent on explaining the awesomeness of the no solder kit, you were just like, man, look at that light.
Wow.
So we were building up versions. So you have this one, and then we have the Challenger, which starts adding in resistors and capacitors and more diodes as well.
In
a motor.
In the motors, right.
And then the Quizzer adds in the integrated circuits. So we start getting
and
logic.
Capacitors.
Well, the other one has.
No.
Yeah?
Nope.
It doesn't?
Nope.
I just
no capacitors on the first one.
Yeah.
There's no need for it.
You're right.
Yes.
Because you have the, yeah.
Yeah. There's no latching circuit, so there's no need for the capacitors.
Okay. So that part where I said that the Challenger had capacitors, scratch that out. Mental edit.
So now, when you see it at the World Maker Faire, if it's called the Challenger, you heard it here first.
I would hope so. I think we were going to call this one the Explorer.
I think so, at one point.
You know, because you could just stab things with
right.
it. It doesn't do that. Though everyone asked, like, if we could make this to shock them. Like, people wanted to be shocked. And we're like, we can't go around shocking our kids.
We
but
could
the
add
motor,
a vibrator motor.
Yeah,
no, we couldn't.
Not this one.
It wouldn't work on this one.
Yeah. Well, could you add it without the LED?
Yes.
So you could have the motor, but not the LED.
Yes, you could put a vibration motor on there without the LED.
Yeah.
But it just draws too much current otherwise.
Yeah, and that's one of the lessons the Challenger.
Yes. And one thing that we're focusing on in my recapping, since we're almost at 15 minutes, is we're really going to focus on education with these kits.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kits out there that don't really, you get an instruction sheet and that's it. There's nothing in it. And we're talking about actually
a lot
putting
of
together.
Them, if you don't have someone to help you out, you're kind of lost in the sauce.
Right. And so what we're going to do is we'll have assembly videos, we'll have instructional videos, as well as a PDF book that comes with it that's got a lot of detail.
Yeah,
and
the
a lot
PDF
of
book will be this thick.
This thick. It'll be this thick.
It's amazing, huh?
It is.
You're just so excited about it. I
know,
had to
right?
make fun of you. So yeah. So making fun of Dave aside, yeah, we want it to be learning, but
Yes,
fun.
But fun.
Like both of them.
Yeah.
And
you can play games with it when you're done.
hence the fun.
Exactly.
So,
soldering is fun.
It's not bad. So I've been anti-solder a lot, but just this, yes. Yeah, hey man, it works.
It does work, and it works good.
And actually, a lot of people at the National Maker Fair did like it.
Yes, they did.
But the main thing is like, there's no like, well, I won't say no, but like, again, the beginner stuff assumes you have some knowledge or someone to help you, and not everyone has that. So
Right.
we're trying to take it back a step.
Right.
And like we talked to some libraries that are trying to become maker spaces, but a lot of librarians, they don't know this stuff yet, so they need to learn too.
Right.
So this is why we made the simple no solder kit.
Right.
And then we build up with the
Little steps.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, we like little steps.
Yes.
You're less likely to fall. Okay, I think we need to wrap this one
Yes.
up. It's getting long. It's 17 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, so see you later, guys.
See you next time. We can't decide.